All right, switching gears. Cam Newton. Recently, Cam Newton made a statement about the type of woman he would like, and a lot of women did not like what he had to say. But we'll go ahead and let Cam tell you the story himself.
I had a perfect example of what a man was in my life by my father. My parents has been together for 36, 37 years now, and it's a beautiful thing. I grew up in a 3-parent household, my mom, my father, and my grandmother. And I knew what a woman was, not a bad bitch.
Okay, what's the difference?
A woman.
Okay.
A bad bitch is a person who's just, you know, girl, I'm a bad bitch. You know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I look the part, but I don't act the part.
Okay.
You know, and there's a lot of women who are bad bitches, and I say bitches in a way not to degrade a woman, but just to go off the aesthetic of what they deem is a boss chick. Now, a woman for me is handling your own, but knowing how to cater to a man's needs, right? And I think a lot of times when you get that aesthetic of like, I'm a boss bitch, like I'm a this, I'm a that, no, baby, like, but you can't cook.
Okay.
You don't know when to be quiet. You don't know how to allow a man to lead.
Well, what you take from that, that was Cam's definition of what he thinks about women. But he prefaced it like what I would like. I think a lot of women got turned off by what he said, especially based at the end when he said, you don't know how to cook or you don't know when to be quiet. I think it's a very nuanced conversation. But here's the thing, what I will say. Before I say anything about this subject, I will say that we need to listen to each other. But I will start off by saying men need to listen to women. And here's why. As a man, I've learned a lot from listening to women, actually hearing some of the complaints or some of the requests they've had of men. And these were bare minimum statements. When you hear a woman say like, oh no, I can't date no man that just got filthy fingernails or bad hygiene. That's a standard that she wants. That's not asking for a lot. When a woman says they want someone that's financially stable, that's not really asking for a lot, because as a man, you should want to be that. When a woman says they want to feel safe, that's not asking for a lot. You know, you should want to make a woman feel safe, right? And I've learned a lot just by listening. Like you hear, and I respect women's standards even if they don't make sense. I think that some men will respond to them a little salty because they may not fit the bill, and women do the same thing. But I also think it's true for women to listen to men. And the reason why women need to listen to men, and I said men, I'm not saying these dudes that nonchalantly shit on women and call them bitches every 5 seconds and reduce women to feeling like shit. I'm not talking about, I'm saying men, actual men who have good intention. And women need to be able to discern between a good man and a man that's just running his fucking mouth. Because I think what's happening is a lot of times women will see this as an attack because they're not willing to receive information from men nowadays. I think that the most toxic people on social media tend to have the biggest platforms, and a lot of them are influencing women. I even seen a post recently that said, I'm just giving men the bare minimum from now on. I ain't doing no wifey shit. And I thought to myself, how the fuck do you ever expect to be a wife when you're offering me the bare minimum? I think that I should prove to a woman through actions and deeds that I can be a husband. And I think it's a woman's job to prove to me that she could be a fucking wife. The biggest issue too is just women and men don't listen to each other. And the internet has made it worse. Because like I said, the most toxic, dumb people got the loudest voices. What I'll say about Cam Newton is respect his standards. That's what he wants. I've heard women say shit, whether I felt it was unrealistic or realistic, and I say, that's her standards, fuck it. But when a man says something, you need to respect that too. If a man says, He wants a woman that keeps herself up, goes to the gym, or he wants a woman that can cook, or he wants a woman that knows when to be quiet. What I mean by that too is, coming from a man saying that, women will automatically label that statement misogynistic. But let me give you an example of men needing to know when they need to be quiet. If a woman is in a room with 7 or 8 of her friends and they're having a woman-to-woman conversation, there's no reason for a man to be putting his input in what they talking about if it does not include him. You need to know as a man when you need to insert yourself. If you don't, then move on. And I feel like women should do the same thing, knowing when to be quiet. He didn't tell women to be quiet. You need to know when to be quiet. And I think that's important for men and women. It's just so much to unpack, right? Geez. I've heard women say shit like they want a man that's over 6 foot tall, right? Knowing that the population of men over 6 foot are not very much. Like for me, I think it's for men over 6'2", it's like 6 point some percent. It's super low. Mm-hmm. Men over 6 foot. No, I think it's 3.9% for men over 6'2". 6 foot is like 6 point some percent. Mm-hmm. So that's not a huge percentage of men that are 6 foot tall. Mm-hmm. But women, a lot of women say that that's a requirement they have. Mm-hmm. There's some women that say, hey, I want a man with a larger penis, right? And there's some dudes that get mad at that. And it's like, dog, you really can't get mad at a woman for wanting somebody with a larger penis because that's what she says she wants, right? That's why the terminology average penis exists, because the average motherfucker ain't walking around with a 9-inch cock, mm-hmm. right? But it doesn't matter. If that's what she wants, cool. You mm-hmm. want a woman that can cook, right? Then we got to respect each other's standards. Don't get triggered or mad at them because that just is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the thing that's going on here is it's just Cam Newton. And Cam Newton is a person that has been like in the news in recent years for, his outfits and, he's like his first game back to the Panthers, he scored a couple touchdowns and he's yelling to the crowd, I'm back. Then the next few games, he's just terrible. He's a below average quarterback. So it's just been, he's kind of, he's not necessarily like the media's favorite subject matter when it comes to the mm-hmm. playing quarterback and stuff like that. So all those things said, this was just fuel for them.
Yeah.
They just kind of affirmed their beliefs, or he affirmed the beliefs that a lot of people had in the media and whatnot. Like even so much so that this was on ESPN. Like I got a notification on my phone that said Cam Newton has said some, I don't know what the headline was.
They put words like misogynistic, and it's like that really wasn't a misogynistic statement.
Yeah. So mind you, I'm getting a notification on my phone. Like I'm not following the Cam Newton news. Right. I don't even know why you guys are sending me this. And this has nothing to do with sports.
Shame on
He's
you,
on
ESPN.
$1 million worth of game. That has
Shame
nothing
on
to do
you,
with sports.
ESPN.
And he might not even be in the NFL next year.
Right.
But it was just one of those things where, that he said something that, you guys already felt a certain way about him, or you already felt a certain way about men and how men view how men view women, and this kind of just was confirmation for a lot of people. But like like you mentioned, it's Cam Newton. Like I think everyone has the right to choose what they want.
Yeah.
But the only problem is that because we are connecting what he said to a man speaking a certain way about women, it's taken outside of his desires as to what he wants in a partner, and it's taken as this misogynistic thing. Because I know for a fact there's all kind of women that have diaries, that have maybe notes in their phone that have a list of 15 things that they want in a man.
Right.
Some of those may be, I want a God-fearing man. Mm-hmm. I want a man that has a good job. I want a man that, does this or does that. And some of those may be physical features. I want my man to be African American. I want my man to be Hispanic. I want my man to be white. Whatever the case may be. These are all things that women are doing, and I've spoken to a lot of women that are like putting that out there. But all of a sudden, it's a problem for Cam Newton to say that he wants, and I think part of this is like a hypothetical thing,
Right.
So even that is taken a little bit out of context. But I just think like we have to kind of going back to your original conversation about the laundromat.
Right.
You will never be able to be like a whole being if you are allowing these conversations to trigger you.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a lot of people that are just waiting to be mad.
Yes.
And that's part of the reason, as I was saying earlier, like I've removed myself from Twitter, is because I like the platform because, you see news on there and, you get to interact with people and stuff like that. But once I realized like I was getting too frustrated by people's opinion, then I had to remove myself and reassess how I approach the app. But what I see a lot of people doing in these kind of conversations, it'd be different if Cam Newton came out and was calling women out of their name, degrading, saying all women are this, all women are that.
That's
but all he's doing is saying this is what I desire out of a woman, and my example of a great woman, a great couple was my parents' relationship.
Right.
But it's this thing like it's good and bad, like this new era of people, right? Like women are more, I guess now, like a little bit more economically stable.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of women are out there, they're owning their own businesses, and a lot of women are making more money than men and all these things. And, they're kind of coming into themselves, right? But there's like these traditional values that they're just trying to push back on so hard.
Yeah.
So much so to where like certain lingo we can't even use no more. And those things are cool, but it's like we can't we can't even have like conversations about what we desire because it's triggering a woman in a way where, they think we're taking them back 30, 40 years of progress that they've made as feminists and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, man, women can say the same exact thing. It's a lot of women, they go in the Breakfast Club. Angela Yee asks this question all the time. They be like, would you date down now? Like, would you date a man that you made more money than? And most of the time, those women I get on there be different comedians and social media figures and stuff like that. They be like, I tried it and it didn't work. He was insecure. I worked too much and he was always trying to spend time with me and all these. So women can say that.
Yeah.
But when Cam Newton say he just want a woman to cater to him and stuff like that, then it's a problem.
Yeah, women are very blunt about what they don't like about men. Mm-hmm. And they're very blunt about it, and that's fine. I still think men should listen to them when they say these things. Even if you disagree with it, it just gives you more depth to see what women don't like.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's important for us to listen to each other. Mm-hmm. Now, what I'll say is this. I think that as men, we consider women's feelings. I said men. It's some men that don't give a fuck and be like, I don't care about these hoes. I say what I want. I'm talking about actual men that care about women. We tend to give women a softer message. Mm-hmm. And a lot of women have been used to, I don't like the way he said that. That's the complaint. I don't like the way he said it. I don't like the way he said it. And it's a privilege built in because with women, we can't talk to you like we talk to our homeboys. If one of our homeboys gained 70 pounds and we be like, hey, man, you need to drop some fucking weight, dude. You're a little too heavy. I love you, bro, but you gotta drop that weight. Mm-hmm. You cannot talk to a woman that way. And women will say that's not true, but they know in their heart of hearts that they do not receive messages the same way that men do. Mm-hmm. The same way men even crack jokes on each other, women cannot handle that. Mm-hmm. So they've been used to receiving a softer message. We actually have to think when we tell them things. We have to find a way to frame things for women so they can get it. And even then, they may still be triggered because we got women we're worried about women being insecure about their body, women being insecure about whatever it is. And even if we say it, we'll come off as the bad guy. Mm-hmm. I've heard women say blunt, like be very blunt, like I can't have no little dick. I can't do that. Mm-hmm. I can't have no broke ass man. I can't do that. Women are very blunt when it comes to men. Mm-hmm. But there are also times where women will try to, how do you say it? Women also will cover up for a man's ego too, because that's also true. Mm-hmm. Like if a dude ain't great in bed, there are a lot of women that will fake moan. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of women that will have fake orgasms just because they don't want to be offensive to their partner. Mm-hmm. That's a fact. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yeah.
A lot of women have fake moans during sex.
Yeah.
So in ways, they try to protect the man's ego, but they also do not give a fuck.
Yeah.
They will say what's on their mind.
That's not protecting though. Like that's just lying.
What? Oh, fake moaning?
Yeah.
But I think that women also understand how much of an ego men have. And they don't want to make the dude feel bad.
I don't think that's it.
I think
they're probably just afraid of confrontation. So they're just like passing along. And the thing that happens a lot, like I would imagine that happens, and then they'll go tell their friend, like, "Girl, you won't believe this man is just terrible in bed." Like, you know, they're probably having that conversation just
For
not
real.
with their man. And it's like, you know, that I don't like that energy. You shouldn't, like, if you have some issue in the room, I think you should address it as such. Because some the problem is some people may be like hurt, like, dang, I thought I was putting it down.
Yeah.
But it may be some other guys that's like, dang, like maybe let me go find a book. Let me go do some research. Let me go, you know, figure it out.
You don't know what type of sex women are having out here. Women be freaks, bro. Mm-hmm. They'd be like, look, I need you to take this chainsaw. He's like, what the fuck you want to do with this? He's like, oh my God. I need you to put this gag over my mouth. He'd be like, yo, like, I can't. This is low-key abuse. Are you a masochist?
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate, but that's a reality of it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just think that there's somewhat of a convenience that men have to package things up a certain way to women and tell them, rather than just say like, you fat, you need to lose weight. Mm-hmm. You can't tell women that.
Yeah.
You just simply cannot talk to them like that. And people say, well, you should be respectful to everyone. We all know as men that play grab ass, they could even be like respectful, but they'll still tell you in a very blunt way. Mm-hmm. I pulled a dude, I used to work with this dude, and he was very obese. Mm-hmm. I pulled him to the side. I said, hey, man, I'm a little worried about you. I just want to let you know that I got your back. Like, if you needed any tips on dieting or whatever, I got your back, but I'm just a little worried about you. Mm-hmm. I told him respectfully, and he said, man, I appreciate you, Ed. You know, I appreciate you pulling me to the side like that. Mm-hmm. I said, no problem, man. You got my number. Hit me up. Mm-hmm. But even imagine if you told a woman that.
Yeah.
That would ruin her fucking day.
Yeah. She probably would eat more.
It better not be no Filet-O-Fish Friday either. And Filet-O-Fish Friday, it's over with. Oh, man.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest issues in this situation is like we just don't listen.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we're listening from our own understanding. And just like the situation in the laundromat, you're trying to explain to her like, hey, you should not talk to people like this because I'm a sane person, but there are some people that are crazy out there. And she's like, I'm not crazy.
Right.
But it's just like, this happens across the board.
Yeah.
So when Cam Newton is talking, all women are hearing is like, I should dominate a relationship.
Yeah.
Women should cater to me. They should, have the house kept so neat and tight when I get home. I need a meal. I need to be fed. I need to be fanned with a palm tree leaf and all. This is what they're hearing as he's talking.
It's wild.
But he's just saying like
what he likes.
Literally what he's saying. And the thing that I appreciate about Cam Newton is he doesn't shy away from these conversations.
No.
Like I'm sure if I don't know what his schedule is like now. I'm sure he's training and stuff, but I'm sure if there was a woman or a podcast with women that wanted to invite him on, I'm sure he would engage in a conversation, and you would be able to get more of an understanding. I just think like we got to start taking people's words for what they are.
Yeah.
And stop trying to add our own meaning to all these things.
And I seen some women talk about Cam and then they attack this relationship. Well, if you was with her, then why didn't y'all get married? And why didn't it work out? It's like, stop it. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't pry into this man's personal life to make him less relevant.
Yeah.
That's
what
just
people
you.
do. That's part of the reason why I'm not on Twitter too.
Yeah.
Because you could be like, you could say something very specific. Say I didn't necessarily agree with Cam Newton. Or say I did agree with Cam Newton. I'd be like, Cam Newton, I think he made some valid points in this statement. That's just my thing that I wrote on Twitter or something like that. And then people would do a deep dive. That's why your podcast is only doing this amount of numbers.
Oh, my God.
You irrelevant. You ain't doing nothing out here. That's why you broke. All these different things. It's like, yo, what does my personal life have to do with this subject matter?
And the fact that you tried to do a deep dive and you were inaccurate shows how much you're not doing with your life. So you're telling on yourself, buddy. I don't have time to research your background. But yeah, man, it's bad. Let me tell you something about the catering thing too. There's a lot of women that live with this delusion saying like, I'm not catering to no man. This ain't 1925. Anytime a woman really loves a man and a good man, they will cater to him naturally. But let me be clear when I say this. As a man, I will cater to a woman. For example, if I take your car and I change the tires or I rotate the tires, I bring all your fluids up, I top off your tank with gas, I detail your car, I wash your car, I bring it to you. I just cater to you. So I don't have an exact expectation of what women are supposed to do for me. But if a woman didn't do shit, she would be gone. If all of my effort and my catering to my girlfriend or wife was not reciprocated in any way, shape, or form, you're done. Women need to stop being so impacted by these toxic platforms that tell them to do the bare minimum or do nothing. If you really love somebody, you will do something for them. There's nothing wrong with doing something for a man. I know women who wake up every morning and make their man's breakfast. Not because the man is telling them to do it, it's because they like doing it. I know, it was a dude I used to work with. His wife made him lunch every day. And I would hear him complain here and there. Oh, she forgot the pickles. Fuck. And I'm thinking like, motherfucker, you should be appreciative you got a wife that's getting up for you, making you your fucking food every day. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking as a single man at like 31 years old at that time. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that your wife is catering to you is respect, homie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there is nothing wrong with women catering to a man. And there's nothing wrong with a man catering to, like, do we live in a time where women and men really fucking hate each other? Where they've allowed TikTok and they've allowed all these apps to influence how they deal with us? That is ridiculous. Yo, I want a woman one day that I would be glad to cater to. But here's the problem. You get with a woman and if she's too influenced by, social media and all these podcasts and platforms that she's like, you know what? All I need to do is exist because the last time I gave my effort, it went unnoticed. I don't give a fuck about what you did with James or whoever your ex was. I'm a real decent man. If you don't do nothing for me, your ass gotta go. You are not going to occupy any space in my life if you're not doing shit for me. Like if you ain't doing nothing but existing, you got to fucking go. Because I can't even rely on you.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy, bro.
You gotta think, people, you have to think about where Cam Newton is speaking from, right?
Yeah.
He's speaking from the perspective of a professional athlete.
Yeah.
So he's probably waking up at, 6 a.m. He's probably working out for a good 3 hours. He may hit the gym. He may do some cardio, and then he may throw the ball around. And, he might come home, play with the kids for a little bit, and then he probably has, if it's not in season, he may be hitting some two-a-days. At night, he may hit the weights again or something like that. Right. Or if he's practicing, he has maybe a 3-4 hour practice, and then he's probably coming home. He's studying film for like two 2 hours or something like that.
He's preoccupied.
He might get a massage or something like his day is like filled up. So he's speaking from the perspective of a person that doesn't have the desire to set aside 2.5 hours, 3 hours to cook a decent meal. So in terms of his relationship, one, he's working very hard. Also, he's bringing home a lot of money.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he's just an extremely busy person, and he's gonna handle a lot of. He's gonna handle his side of the work, and he's probably gonna do things for his partner and stuff like that. But it's like we got to stop thinking about it as like roles, or we got to stop thinking about it as you're lesser than your husband because you have a certain set of things that you that you have to do in order for the house to run smoothly. And just think of it as teamwork. Like you guys are like, co-stars in a sense. Like, okay, Cam Newton, I see you working out this many hours. The best or the least that I can do is, make sure he got a hot meal when he come home, or make sure, when he getting ready to take off, I may make him a smoothie or something in the morning. And even in vice versa, if you're a guy and your woman is, she works really hard, she's a lawyer or something like that. If you gotta run to Starbucks and get her a coffee, or do little things around the house, clean up, wash dishes, or whatever the case may be. Or maybe even if she cook, you bust the dishes down after she cooked, just because like that's kind of the partnership that really makes a house run smoothly. But we're just so like infatuated with like pushing back against this idea of like the 1950s woman that just stays the house, the typical housewife and stuff like that. Yeah, that a lot of these women now are like almost making themselves undesirable
in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
and hearing very extremely liberal terms like alpha woman. Well, I'm an alpha woman, and if these guys can't handle it, and it's like, stop this shit, stop it. I don't come into any situation where I'm an alpha man, and if a woman don't, stop it. Mm-hmm. Stop it. That's just now. My thing is, I'm a loving man, and I will exercise my love through things and actions and deeds. If you got a woman that's a decent woman that's been catering to you and helping you out and things of that nature, and she wants to start a business and she's a little short, here's 10 grand. Here's 10 grand in supplies. Things like that are important, but it's a lot of people. And I think that what happens is, and this is my only knock on women. When women have a scrutiny of men, they use the men that they've experienced, right? And they use those men as the metric for every man. Don't you realize, I don't care if you're 30, every motherfucker you could have dated could have been trash. Do not use those men as the metric for what's out here. Don't do that.
And then try to justify it. Because you can be in that conversation like, that's just my perspective on men. I think all men are cheaters. I think all men are this. And you like, yo, I ain't never cheated on
I ain't never cheated in my life.
And it's just like you can't. You got to go in. But that's the issue with like women being relationships for the duration of their life. Like, because they're not even like healing from their past relationship, and then they're just getting in a new one. And then that's when that type of conversation comes about. Yeah. Because if you spent like 6, 7, 8 months out of your, not saying like in between relationships, I mean, that's the time where you really dolo. Like that's the time where you really working on yourself. You don't even have that perception of the person you're like the type of person you want to be in a relationship, because it's like that 7, 8 months is like spent just being one with yourself, and you're not even like bringing that energy into a relationship.
I'm gonna keep it real, and this is just advice from a guy. You could take it or leave it, but being as I'm open to advice from women, here's advice from me. I think women need to unplug here every once in a while. I'm talking about when they break up with a dude, they need to get off social media and get off dating apps. Figure out who the fuck you are. Because what's happening is you break up with a dude, he probably has some toxic traits or whatever the case. And what happens is, because a lot of women don't gravitate, I don't even want to say women, a lot of people gravitate to what they like not what's best for them. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of men be like, man, these girls ain't shit. I'm like, bro, you took 3 months, you stayed on dating apps, and you met the same woman that you had the last time. It's because you went after what you like, not what's best for you. Right? So if you notice, women are dating doppelgangers of the last dude they dated.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me it's a coincidence that the last 5 niggas you dated have been over 6 foot and they've been light skinned?
Yeah.
You think somebody's stupid? We can see straight through it. You go after what you like, not what's best for you, and then you turn around and use that shit as a metric for all men. You need to grow up.
Yeah, I'm not light skinned.
Yeah, right? Get you a chocolate brother. But more important, like you need to grow up. And I'm not just talking to women now. So before you label me misogynistic, I just gave a universal scrutiny of both sexes. But you need to grow up and take that time to figure out who the fuck you are. If you don't figure out why you keep choosing these motherfuckers, you will choose these. I know women in their late 30s that's still out there choosing bad boys. It's women in their 40s that's chasing the same dude they was chasing since 19 years old. And what's crazy, the only thing these dudes can give you is another kid. That's it. No marriage, no nothing. There's a bunch of women out here that got kids by the bad dude and complain about all these. It's because you went after what you liked.
Yeah.
You went after what you liked, not what was best for you. And you keep doing that shit. It's dudes that got 7 baby mamas and they're like, man, these girls ain't no good. Like, bro, every one of your baby mamas got a fat ass. You think that that's a coincidence? Huh? You think it's a coincidence that every single one of your baby mamas got a fat ass and they all Hispanic?
Fat asses is cool.
They is. But what I'm saying is you basically have been dating doppelgangers of each woman.
Yeah.
Yet you want to have an opinion about every woman that exists. You just got a disconnect, homie. Like you got a real problem that you need to fix within yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think the best thing that I did, I think Keith can attest to it too, is when I got off dating apps like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was the best thing for me. Now, you're not gonna get as much action as you was getting before, for sure. But I'd rather not, because I'm too old to be on a dating app swiping through women's faces.
Yeah.
And only choosing women based on how fat their ass is. That's immaturity, homie. And women that's on these dating apps, they doing the same thing. Is he 6 foot? Is he light skinned? The same dudes. Oh, she Hispanic, she got a fat ass. This is what we do. The immaturity that exists within us is causing a rippling effect.
I don't even know how people pick partners these days. Like, what is the...
Like I just said it.
It's just attraction?
It's childlike metrics. We talked about this a while back. The same way they chose women in high school is the same way they choosing women as a grown man. The same thing with girls.
Yeah.
It's like the dating scene is one big motherfucking high school.
Yeah.
Women will complain about a dude he was toxic, he was this and that. And then you see the dude they dating and you'd be like, it's none of my business. I don't give a fuck. But I'm like, okay, you date another dude with tattoos on his face, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you would think like that's why I guess in terms of this conversation, I would give Sierra a little bit more respect.
100%.
Because she realized that whatever she was doing before wasn't working.
Facts.
And she didn't date future number 2. She got with Russell Wilson.
Yeah. And we talked about this. There's nothing wrong with a woman actually choosing peace over dysfunction. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I just think that some men got a little bit was probably a little salty because they probably know of, women selectively choosing good men last. So I think that was the gripe for men. But truth be told, there's nothing wrong with a woman growing up and saying, yo, like, I want better.
Yeah. I think all women choose good men last, right?
Possibly.
Because, I mean, if you say you date whoever you dated, it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
And then you end up dating, like, whoever you end up, having a real relationship with or marrying.
Yeah.
I think it just looks different sometimes. It might be an athlete. It might be a rapper. It might be,
if you look at the dating history of some women, bro, it's wild, bro. It go from like a gangbanger, and then they dated a crip. Now they dating the blood.
Yeah.
And then now they dating the dude that like he did a little bit of prison time, but now he got he a mechanic now.
Somebody said, I forget, it was a podcast or something, and they were talking about the moment that changed his life as a father. I think he said
I seen it. I already know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I could elaborate. He was a crip. He was a crip, and his daughter was born. And he went up through an elevator, and when he got off, a dude was a blood. He had his the dude was a crip
too.
He was a blood.
He was all blued out.
He was a blood. The dude was a crip, and the dude basically stopped him like, "Oh, you having a boy or girl?" He said a girl, and he basically told the dude, he said, "Man," he's like basically like, she's gonna find a man that's just like you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And at that moment, he felt that great amount of responsibility, and that was a deep story.
Yeah.
And then the funny ass part about it at the end, the dude was like, "That's why I've always liked Crips better."
The white dude said that. Yeah. Okay, it's coming back to me now. That was a great joke.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Yeah, but see that's something people don't talk about either. Believe it or not, bro, you should only be dating women who are a great example of what, like, if let's say for example, I have a daughter, right? I should be choosing a woman who is a good role model for my daughter. And vice versa. As a man, you need to be the example to your daughter of what a man is. You are the first man she will ever really see in her life.
Yeah.
So if you cheating on her mom and shit and running out chasing pussy, even if you a good dad, your daughter gonna be thinking like, even my dad couldn't keep his dick in his pants. So her view of men is gonna be very skewed.
Yeah.
She's not gonna think that a man could even be faithful because she hasn't seen it in her own home. But if you are a good provider, you're a decent man, you're respectful, you listen, you cater to your wife, you do things for your family. Any man that go hard for his family will automatically get respect from his wife and everybody around. If he don't, then she gonna have to go. But at the end of the day, if you go hard for your family, your daughter is less likely to date a motherfucker that ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
You just gotta be that example. Same for women. For women, you got to be the example of a woman that you want your son to date. If you running around here all fucked up and confused and being dumb, you would not. Yeah, you would not want your son dating a person like you, man. I hate to say it, but it's true.
Yeah.
A lot of y'all is fucked up examples, and this is just men and women in general. And they really, and the same people got the nerve to complain. And I live with the reality that I'm still working on myself. I don't claim to be a finished product. And I've said on here before, not out of a sense of insecurity, but I may not be man enough for the woman that I want. So the work I do on myself is not for a woman, it's for me. But it will benefit the woman that I mean to have in my life in the future. You dig what I'm saying? I don't do shit for women, I do it for myself. But I know that the shit I do for me, women respect that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I actually listen to women too.
Yeah, I think all anybody wants out of a relationship is somebody like, not even that's perfect, but that's just willing to put the work in.
Right.
Whether you need to lose some weight, if that's the thing that you feel like you need to do, or just become a healthier person overall, whether that's working on your sleeping patterns or, working on your mental health as far as like social media attention and all these different things. Right. I think that's at least for me, that's all that I would ask for is like, I don't want to necessarily a finished product. I just want somebody that's like a work in progress, like forever striving to be the best version of themselves. But for sure, like that example of a man and a father and a mother, that's your first example of a functioning relationship, and you want to, oftentimes like there's an inherent comparison there. Maybe your mom loved you a certain way. Your mom cooked a certain way. Your mom, she might have, almost not like conflict, but I guess for lack of a better term, if she's telling you doing something wrong, she might be a little bit more stern on you. And in terms of your romantic relationship, you might take heed to that sort of conversation a little bit better than a more passive aggressive way. So it's just like we take on these things, and we spend a lot of time with our parents, and you kind of take that into the world and you mold your relationships around it. And sometimes it takes correcting in terms of your relationships, because you may be carrying something that's not necessarily conducive to really keeping a relationship together. But the genesis of that, or like the foundation of that, is going to be like a solid parent.
Yeah, and it's very nuanced too, because you could be carrying shit that your own parents never dealt with and you inherited it. And now you have to be the generational curse breaker of that thing, so it doesn't manifest itself in your relationships.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's certain fears and things that your parents, they don't face, and then we literally inherit those fears or those inadequacies. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes, like, I know of situations where, like, people, like, parents can argue. It could be both ways, right? You can see your parents arguing so much that you, like, I do not want that in my relationship.
Facts.
Not at all. Or it could be the opposite, to where, like, you almost, like, normalize arguing. Like, this is, like, arguing is part of a relationship.
No,
like,
hell
it brings us
no.
closer together. All this kind of stuff.
No, it's some women that believe that arguments are healthy, and it's like, first of all, you're not going to get me yelling and screaming. Yeah. I don't want to do that, because that's disrespectful. And I feel like if I'm yelling and screaming at you, then what I'm doing is I'm causing you to go up a level. And now we both saying things that we really don't mean, or trying to hurt somebody, and we're not going to do that.
And then it starts to get outside of the argument. Yeah. You start throwing blows.
Not
literally. I mean, like, like shots.
The verbals.
Yeah.
You got to shut it down as a man, though. When you can see a situation escalating it, you got to be a good leader and say, hey, look, let's convene at a later time and let's talk about this. I'm not about to be screaming at you in this car. I'm not about to be in public with you arguing. If it's a problem, I can just take you back home and we'll talk later. Like, if you respect somebody, you respect a woman like that, and you know that if y'all keep talking, you gonna unload on her motherfucking ass and get pissed off yelling. I'm not finna do that. I'd rather you need to go sit down somewhere, or if we could be cordial and respectful. If you need a moment to breathe and articulate what's going on. Yeah. One thing women are bad at is when they mad, they just start saying any fucking thing. Shit that don't make no sense. Yeah. And you just be like, what? What does Arby's have to do with this conversation? Yeah. I'll end this conversation with this. There was a homie of mine back in the day, and his girlfriend in college, she was a really, 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 really cool person. And you could tell she had like she was gonna be a wife. Like, I don't know why you can tell, but it's just some women, it just bleeds out of them. Just a maturity. And it's just like, you just know they're very loving and very nice and very warm. Yeah. Very respectful,
You could look at some women and be like, dang, she'll be a good mom one day.
Hell yeah. And the thing about it is, that's how she was even back then. And she loved my homie and shit. He loved her, but they would have little arguments here and there. But one of her gripes that she had is because she was in college and getting her degree, and she wanted to, level up with him, whether it be a house or whatever. And being young, he wasn't very ambitious. And these conversations became more common, where she wanted him to do more and he just didn't want to do it. Eventually, she left him for having a lack of ambition. And I'm going to say this. I don't blame her. And I know it might sound fucked up, but if a woman loves you and is doing everything to keep you, and you don't want to do better for somebody you supposedly love, that's a problem.
What was her, did she end up getting a degree or anything?
She did. She got a good job. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like like basically being judgmental. Like, it was going on for a minute before she decided to leave, and now she married and shit. Yeah. Kids and everything. And the crazy part about it is, like, I had a conversation with him probably like 4 years after they broke up, and he was telling me how he still loved her. And I'm thinking, like, in my mind, I'm like, man, you fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell him that, but I'm like, bro, you fucked up, because like, bro, she was a good woman, bro. Like, I think when people are young, because I know it ain't just men that fumble the bag when they got a good woman. It's a lot of women that fuck up really good men.
Yeah.
That have a dude that want to really marry them low key, and they're like, I'm just not ready for it right now. I'm just like, my life, I need to focus on me. And then they go out for multiple years, date the wrong motherfuckers, and wish they had that dude from back in college.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What does that guy do now? Is he
Nothing.
Is he got
Still not doing much with his life.
God dang.
Yeah, great guy though, man. Good person. Just
not don't got the ambition.
Don't got the ambition.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. Because it's that's the, and we talked about this before, but like you in your lifetime, especially like depending on your lifestyle,
right.
like if you just say you live in Bakersfield and you just work a job, like where are you going to meet a decent person? Like it's treacherous waters out here in Bakersfield.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, once you get those ones, you gotta hold on to them, because it's ugly out here.
Yeah.
But
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that there are really good women out here in the world. The issue is they're already taken.
Yeah.
They're already taken. I remember one time, and this is a little bit of her fault. I had a conversation with this girl in the gym. I don't know why I remember this shit like it was yesterday. I seen her a few times, but she always worked out alone. And she was pretty cute. She was biracial. Like she was probably half black, half Mexican or something like that. And we was just talking one day, and we was dead working out kind of hard. And then the conversation sparked up, and we was literally like in place talking. And we was talking to the gym clothes. Mm-hmm. And then I walked her out. We was talking again in the parking lot for like another 10 minutes. And then before we like stopped talking, she was like, yeah, and my boyfriend. And I'm just like, oh my God. Yeah. Cause like just her energy, her humor, just everything about this girl was just really warm, right? Mm-hmm. And then when she said, oh, yeah, my boyfriend, I was just like, oh, Lord.
She probably, I wouldn't say, she seems to be an honest person, but probably like just fell into a great conversation. And she was like, dang, I got a boyfriend. I need to really tell this guy.
Yeah, but I think that in that moment, she realized she was kind of wrong for that, because we were having a conversation, and my thing is I don't have expectations from what I'm getting from women. However, if you're a grown man and she's obviously sexually attractive, and I caught a couple of times, I caught her gazing at me a little bit at the gym, and I'm like, when you finally have that conversation, because I don't like to solicit, or try to hook up with women in the gym. Mm-hmm. I go to the gym to work on myself, not to hit on women. Mm-hmm. So when I do have a conversation, it's usually constructive. It's not me being flirty or no shit like that.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I wasn't even being flirty. We were just having good conversation. She was touching me and stuff. And I was just like, yo, I'm about to get with this chick. Mm-hmm. And she said that. I was just like, oh, Lord.
You probably cut the conversation short after that.
After that, I respectfully departed from the conversation. Mm-hmm. But I think it's just some people. And she almost didn't seem like happy to say that she had a boyfriend.
Yeah. Because it's probably not the greatest relationship.
Probably not. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it's one of those, it's like when you a single dude and you actually do want a good woman, you get pump faked a lot.
Yeah. Oftentimes too, in those little conversations, you can notice something in somebody that is lacking in your relationship.
Ouch.
So say like you got your boyfriend or whatever, but he may not be the most intellectual person. And then you meet somebody at the gym, y'all talking about spirituality and like weightlifting techniques and all these different things. And you're like, man, this is like,
she getting all these angles.
I'm interested in these subject matters, but my boyfriend, I love him, but we don't even talk about stuff like this. All he knows is football.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but it's crazy. I think women could be so awkward sometimes, dude, especially when they're like attracted to you. Like they just don't even know what it looks like to like articulate that they like a guy.
Yeah, especially in this time where women are like, they're like, oh, I'm an alpha female, but you can't even go approach a dude.
Yeah.
The fuck are you talking about?
There was this girl, we were at this music video on Saturday, and this girl, you could tell like she was just looking the whole time, like either me and my never mind, I'm not gonna say who else she was looking at, but me or my friend, and it came a point where we was just sitting at the table, like just talking, and just sitting on our phones, whatever, having conversation, and she made it a point to like get up, and I don't know if she was taking. She looked like she was taking a picture of like the house that we were shooting at, and I was like, "Hey, you good?" And she was like, "Yeah," and she was like, "Oh, I'm just over here. Don't mind me. I'm just taking pictures." I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." She was like, "Yeah, I just like taking pictures of different things," and I was like, "Oh, okay." But she just kind of like stayed there, and then we me and my friend were talking to her a little bit more, and we just you gotta
be a shooter sometimes. Like when women don't have anything to say, you just be like, "Hey, I like your necklace. Where'd you get that from?" Or you have to like find something in that empty space.
Yeah,
and then that's when they start talking.
Women gonna go like 20%, and then you gotta go the rest.
You gotta go 80%.
And
crazy.
Not that I was even trying to get at that girl, but
Right.
It was just like funny that how awkward a woman could be when she's like she finds you attractive.
What's crazy? I've had some wild conversations with girls, bro. Like the conversation will be very timid at first. Like, yeah, I don't really know a lot of people out here. And by the end of the conversation, like, yeah, I love giving head. You be like, what the fuck? No, you 25 minutes.
No, you 25 minutes.
God damn.
Yeah, that's for sure.
This Walmart greeter the other day just made me feel really warm. Like she was my grandma or some shit. And it's just some people make you feel a certain way. She's like, how's your day going? I'm like, great. And I gave her my receipt. She's like, so Easter, got plans or what are you going to be doing?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not sure right now. I'm kind of under the weather. Oh, no, you're under the weather? Are you taking care of yourself? And I was just like, man, this guy's like, how's your penis? I was like, oh, penis is fine, man.
Gosh, dang. That's crazy. Some people do have that power. I like elderly black women, like 60 plus years old. They
Cafeteria
just
ladies?
Yeah, they just make me feel so like loved. You know what I mean? Just a warm interaction always.
Bro, that happened to me quite a few times when I was delivering the station to be like an older black woman, and she'd get out the car and I'd be delivering fuel to like fast strips. Be like, she's like, there you go ahead, black man. And I'd be like, thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
Yeah.
She might as well gave me cookies the way she made me feel.
Man, there's this lady. Her name was April, I think, and I don't know if her name was April, but she has this company called April's Life in a Bottle, and she sells like these juices. Like she presses up juices.
Her name is
and
April.
stuff. Did
you march up to her?
Okay. Eddie's sick, guys. Just let that slide. But she was doing an interview with Xylo, and she just had like really good energy, like always smiling, and you just seem to like really people that are just good listeners. They just kind of look you in your eye and is really engaged.
Really engaged.
Yeah, she was one of those kind of people, and I was like, damn, this is like I just want to give her a hug.
Oh. She's like, I just want to rub your body. So. Be careful, these older women ain't afraid of young dudes no more.
Oh man, yeah, it still work too.
Thing women is they letting you know, they're like, you know what, I might be 68, but I could give you a 69.
Oh God.